happy.
Here's what just happened, everybody.
Yeah.
So I went down a little bit of I was laser focused on something that wasn't getting Dave to bed on time. And I was typing away, or I don't even know what I was doing.
Oh God, I did it again.
Laser focused
God
on something that wasn't. I hope that doesn't show up in the show. So I was doing something that wasn't podcasting.
Yeah.
Or getting as close to podcasting. And I seriously, I looked up, and you were giving me one. Oh, look, which we will discuss later, young man. And two, you were suddenly super tired, Dave.
Yeah.
You have now just.
I
have never seen anyone go from looking like you are, a 30-year-old
zesty ginger
ready.
Yeah.
Right. And then I look up, and all of a sudden you're 75 years old.
Yes.
Like, how does that work?
It's
just physics-wise.
I'm a switch. I am 1 or 0, Ian.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I am.
Never seen anything like it.
That's me. Oh, God. Okay. I thought I almost spilt water. Ian.
Welcome, folks. This is the TeamClearCoat Aftershow.
I'm Dave.
I am Ian.
I'm the sleepy one. Ian's
I'm the sick one. We're doing really well. Everything's great, guys. Everything's great.
Yep. In the blanket fort and out. Yep. Ian?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to give you a look. You were looking at related podcasts to other automotive podcasts.
You did know. The look was well deserved. I was doing nothing of value.
I was wondering.
And we were supposed to be finishing this up so we could go to bed.
I was trying to decide if where you were heading had an end state.
Nope.
Yeah, and that was I was getting there. I was like, oh, I don't think this has an end to it.
It does not.
This could be a black hole where you're just looking at the thing that's related to the thing that's and we're trying to figure out why the fuck we can't climb iTunes rankings.
It could be, and this may be far-fetched. It could be that we're not very good at this.
No, can't be it. Can't be it. Can't be it. An automotive podcast that has the hubris of having an after show for its own podcast.
An after show that, I don't think anybody listens to.
We're not The Walking Dead, and we're certainly not Chris Hardwick.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not deserved.
You were saying?
I don't. Similar to what I was clicking on, I don't know where I was going with that. So we'll just leave it there.
About nobody listening to the after show?
Oh, right. Yeah. Welcome to the after show, everybody.
Yep.
Nobody. This is the part where we talk about the things that we didn't talk about in the other part.
That's right. And hello, Twitch. We're streaming on Twitch.
For some reason.
Yes. Ian?
Yes.
I like that you tried to read my handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
My handwriting is so bad, it might as well be secret code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is also pretty bad. I actually had a guidance counselor tell me that I should be a doctor based solely on I won't say strength of my handwriting.
Right.
Yeah. So we talked about a couple things. We touched a couple things in the main show that's ostensibly about cars.
First of all, main show, loved it. I loved recording that episode. Ian.
It was all right. It was okay.
I thought it was a fun episode.
Yeah.
I showed you PowerPoint presentations of different pictures that I've taken illegally while driving my car.
A passenger took your phone and reached over in front of your field of vision and then took the picture.
Exactly.
That's what happens.
I threw my car into park real quick on the highway. How old am I that I still do this?
Yeah.
Yeah. To park. Yeah, throw it in park.
That's
column,
what that was.
Yep,
column shift.
Yep, I threw it in park, yeah.
Usually because nowadays that hand motion means something totally different if you're alone in your car.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so this is the after show where we talk about not cars.
Yep.
So one thing that we talked about on the main show, we were talking about my record collection and how few of my records feature cars on the cover.
Yeah.
And one of the albums that did show up was Arcade Fire's The Suburbs.
Right.
Now that is an album that I have a complicated relationship with You, on the other hand, do not have a complicated relationship with it.
You know what?
I want to hear your thoughts.
Here's my day
and I'm going to motion at you with the electronic device.
Good. I'm going to motion back with my electronic device.
I like it. And I'm going to use a stylus in the other hand.
I've got a stylus too, bastard. Yeah. You know what? I can go second stylus, Ian. I've got another one.
Hey, I'm sorry. Can we go back to one thing really quick?
Yeah.
Why haven't we climbed the iTunes ranking again?
I don't know.
It's a mystery.
We'll never figure it out.
Oh, God.
Ian, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put that album on my iTunes Music. I'm gonna listen to it again. I'm gonna give you a hot take. All right? Because honestly, you could play 75 songs off of that album right now. You could, and I wouldn't be able to tell you what the hell they were.
So, and that flippant remark actually brings me to why I had a complicated relationship with it in the first place.
Okay, all right.
Because there are approximately 75 songs on that album.
Oh, really?
It's a really long album, and it didn't, when it came out, first of all, it won a Grammy, and it was one of those Grammys, I mean, the Grammys are fucking nonsense.
Right.
Always
Milli Vanilli won a Grammy.
Always have been, always will be nonsense.
Right.
But that one, it was one of those awards that was like, oh, we missed you when you actually did something that was completely groundbreaking.
Right.
So here's a consolation prize.
Gotcha.
It's one of those. It's the what's the famous Oscar example? Anyway, one of the Leonardo DiCaprio examples or whatever. But that's what that award was, because Funeral is actually that's the only mandatory Arcade Fire album.
Okay.
Because it's a stone cold classic.
Okay.
The Suburbs is a little bit interesting because it's like listening to it now. It came out several years ago, and it's really like it's about Trump's America, like the parts of America that voted for Trump.
Oh, okay.
And it's really interesting to listen to now because the Arcade Fire have such an interesting perspective on America, because they're from Houston and Montreal.
Okay.
The two,
all right.
Win and Chastain? I don't remember. Whatever her name. Whatever. Whatever her name is. The Win Butler's wife, who's the other lead singer in the band. It's really interesting album, and I've kind of been obsessed with it lately. And I hated it when it came out because I thought it was way too long and just bloated and overindulgent. Anyway,
the deluxe version has 21 tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, the deluxe version of any album is usually bullshit.
Yep.
Avoid.
Yeah.
Get the original cut.
Yep. Exactly.
Unless there's a reason. Unless there's a specific reason. Unless it was like remastered or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll listen to it. I'll give you Dave's hot fresh take.
I would rather hear your hot fresh take on Funeral because for one, I feel more strongly about that album.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you came with some hot fire about the Suburbs, I'd be like, I get it. I understand, buddy.
Okay.
But if you hate Funeral,
right, then I'm just an awful human being.
We're gonna have some things to talk about. No, I think it's probably not for everyone, but it really is like a seminal album from that period in time, which would have been like 2004-ish.
Right. Yeah.
Which I think is still in your window.
Right. It is.
It's in your window of acceptable music release dates.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Barely.
See the Turn of the Century podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll listen to it.
Is it too precious?
I think that a lot of times whenever I hear something just get hyped straight to A+ status, I won't even listen. I won't even give it the time of day.
Yeah.
Right?
And I get that impulse completely.
Right.
But part of it was that they were one of those bands that like came right out of the gate with an amazing album.
Well, but see, like, here's the thing. Like, so many bands do because they've spent their whole life getting all of these feelings and they put them in their first album.
Right.
That's why so many bands, like, have a bad sophomore album.
Yeah, it's that famous quote. I think it's from Lester Bangs or maybe it's just from Almost Famous. I don't remember. But it's you have your whole life to write your first album and a year to write your second.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Which, I mean, like, say what you will about Green Day, like even though Dookie wasn't really their first album, that was their first like breakthrough album, right?
That was just their first major label album, right?
Yeah. But fucking Insomniac was a fantastic follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like their third or fourth album, though, right? Dookie?
It was their fourth. Dookie was third. Yeah.
Okay. So that doesn't count.
Right. Yeah. But yeah. So So anytime I hear somebody like just get so many accolades and stuff right out of the gate, I will go out of my way to avoid it. I really will. I don't like. If everybody says they like that thing, I don't even want to see that thing.
Yeah, I get that.
And that thing might be fantastic. And more than likely, I'm going to turn out to like that thing, because there's a reason so many people are saying it good. But guess what? So how many goddamn A+ reviews did DJ Shadow's last album get?
Did it get a bunch?
Oh, yeah. You got tons. Yeah, that album is a piece of shit, except for the Run the Jewels song.
I wouldn't say it's a piece of shit.
It's a piece of shit.
It's uneven is what I would say.
When was the last time you listened to it all the way through?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Right?
But I've listened to a couple other songs off of it other than...
When was the last time you listened to Run the Jewels?
Yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I
no.
get it.
But I don't know, like
and that's what I think, like, why I've been revisiting the Suburbs,
right?
Because that album, when it came out, like, everyone was all up on it. You know, it was
right.
Like, the hype was crazy around it.
Yeah,
and I was an Arcade Fire fan,
right?
But I was like, it's a little uneven, a little too long.
Okay,
and there wasn't any room for that in the discussion.
Okay,
right? They couldn't have just a good album.
Right,
it was an amazing album, and I still don't think it's amazing.
Right.
But I think with a little bit of distance and time, it actually it's a little better now.
Okay.
But yeah.
I think that's not to be confused with an album growing on you, because I think that distance and time separation is something different than an album growing on you. And I'm glad that you mentioned that album or listening to something in that context, because I think like there's that repeated listen like in a slightly shorter time period that does foster that growing on you,
right.
Like like Clutch's self-titled album like really grew. The first time I heard Clutch, I was like, I don't get it,
right?
And I still love that self-titled album, right? They're a heap of shit now. Nothing but blues riffs. Yeah, but yeah.
I love it. Blues riffs.
I know. I can't
Such
stand
disdain.
it. Yeah. White guys doing the blues? No, thank you.
I mean, you've just described 60 years of pop music, but
right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. You know me.
Try to be contrarian.
I know.
Mr. I Love Helmet.
Yeah, I do.
It's not blues based at all. Wait, you love John Spencer Blues Explosion, motherfucker.
In the lyrics, John Spencer says, "This is not the blues. This is rock and roll." Yeah.
What is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Chuck Berry just died.
Yeah.
The blues and rock and roll are inseparable.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Right. I can like the thing that's influenced by the thing without liking that thing.
I understand.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not I can't do that. I have to that's the rabbit hole that I go down with my music things.
Right.
Is that like, I listened to Interpol,
right.
Yeah. And then that means I'm going down post-punk all the way to the bottom,
Okay.
And I've got to chase that thread all the way down.
Right.
I like proggy stuff, so now I've got to chase that thread all the way down.
Right.
I've got to like I don't know why I'm like that with music.
Yeah, no.
So I'm not like that with anything else in my life, but
right.
Yeah, totally. I'm like that with music.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't do that. There's so many things where I don't like the thing that was the influence. You know, like, I don't like the root of it, but I like the things that came out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, I love John Spencer Blues Explosion. You see the stuff hanging up in my house. Yeah, I love big beat techno, but I'm not a huge fan of Kraftwerk and 808 State. You know, like yeah.
No, that's fine. Well, and
Right.
like you don't listen to krautrock.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and like evolutions and iterations. I don't think always need to be enjoyed with the steps around them.
Well, and I'm not saying that I always enjoy it either.
Right.
It's
right,
more
right.
I enjoy the discovery of it,
Right.
and like I enjoy going backwards and discovering it.
Yeah.
Sometimes more than the actual enjoyment of sitting and listening to it.
Gotcha.
Sometimes.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times I find stuff that I end up really digging.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know. I find it more. I find I appreciate the stuff I like now when I'm like, oh, I can see what you did there.
Right. Definitely. That's another really important distinction to make is
Right.
seeing that. Yeah, like those technical executions or like
I know why you did that.
Right. Yes,
Right.
I get that. Yeah. We're back on the same page. Ian, there were so many things that we talked about before the podcast where I had that instinct of
shut up.
Yeah, shut up, save it for the show. There's so like whenever we're together and we're not sitting in the blanket fort actively recording, sometimes I'm hesitant to even say words to you out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And that has changed our friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right?
I will say that there is one thing that we talked about that bears repeating.
Okay.
And we may not recapture that it was hilarious when we said it, but I think it's worth exploring a little bit.
Yeah.
I had forgotten several things that I was supposed to do.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And you have famously referred to yourself as a goldfish.
Yeah.
Memory wise.
Yeah.
And I said, what if we don't actually like each other, but we just have forgotten, we just always forget the ways that we hate each other.
Uh-huh.
And that's the whole, our whole friendship is just a lie.
Mm-hmm.
We've been living in like memento.
I was just going to say, we have tattoos of Ian equal friend.
Ian equal don't trust. And we just always forget to look at them when we're in the blanket fort.
Right?
And we just punch each other when we're not here.
Yeah.
And then we arrive here and we're like, hey, we're new.
Hey, buddy.
New place.
Yeah. Can I get you some water?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, Ian.
We both have shit memories.
Yeah. Shit memories, bunch of attention deficit, and a penchant for cars.
Yeah.
Yep. The TeamClearCoat podcast, Ian. The TeamClearCoat podcast. I just looked at the recorder again to make sure it was recording.
Was it? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the people about your new mixer?
I bought a mixer.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it sounds pretty good.
I do too. Yeah. I was having so many problems. I think the most important thing is I got this little
God, don't play with it.
USB audio interface for my computer because, as you and I both know, but we refused for some reason to admit, is that multi-ring adapters into a computer are fucking bullshit.
They suck.
Those are the worst. We kept trying to get things to work with multi-adapters. Your computer, my computer, my tablet when I had it. Oh, God. No. Just I had to get one of these. Yeah,
Yep.
Audio-Technica little ATR2 USB device. Jesus Christ. If it wasn't so big, I would leave it plugged into my computer all the time.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. And it seems like it's working much, much better.
Why can't I have a separate mic and headphone port like every computer used to have? Why can't I have that?
For the same reason you probably don't have a disk drive anymore.
But it's a small circle. It's not like it's a big flat thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Ian.
Well, probably because people do make headsets now and they don't have too.
They don't have a breakout. Yeah,
They don't have a breakout
It's one
anymore.
multi-ring thing, like your phone headset and all
You
that.
know whose fault it is?
Apple's.
Steve Jobs.
Yep, that motherfucker.
I'm gonna go defile his grave yet again. Every time I have to buy a new cable for this thing,
Yeah.
someone's grave is getting peed on. That's all I can say.
Ian?
Yeah.
What else do we have besides urinating on the dead?
I don't have a single thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't have any hot takes.
Yeah?
I'm fresh out of hot takes.
I was disappointed that we had to punt so many listener FMK cars to the next show.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
What else do you have? Do you have anything else besides just being sleepy?
No, let's see. What else? Gosh.
Album review. New album. New
okay.
album out.
Okay.
New album out.
All
I'm
right.
about to be effusive about an album.
Okay, what is it?
The new Spoon album.
I've never listened to Spoon.
So Spoon is they are how do you sell Spoon? So Spoon is a band from Austin. They have been around for a long time. I think this is like their 8th album.
I'm gonna take the blanket fort message.
No, I'll fix it. I'll fidget silently. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
No one listens to this anyway.
So one of the culture commenters that I'm obsessed with, Steve Hyden, has this thing called the 5 album rule.
Okay. Yeah, the butthole that you're all the way up.
Oh, yep, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one.
The one that you have his Stephen Hyden's prostate license plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. And he has this thing called the 5 album rule, where
Okay.
basically there's a select number of performers or bands that have released 5 great or classic albums in a row.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you've got, like, obviously Bowie is in that.
Sure.
And he's actually in it twice, I would argue. I think REM has 8.
Okay.
And he said that they're the most consistent.
Yeah.
He has a whole thing on this. But he's saying that, and I agree with this, I think Spoon is at 7 right now.
Okay.
They don't do anything that's especially crazy. Like, I don't think you would actually necessarily like them. And I'm sure you've heard Spoon before.
Okay.
I can guarantee you've heard Spoon songs before. And they're not the type of thing that if you weren't paying attention, it wouldn't grab you.
It's the Volkswagen Phaeton of music.
Yes. Oh my God, they absolutely are, because they're designed to be. They're just really, really good at what they do.
Okay.
They're amazing songwriting and amazing production, but they're not like trying to set the world on fire with like beeps and boops or.
But they want to deliver what people want.
Yes, and they're just really fucking good at it.
Okay.
Just really good at it.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so you gotta get that quality feel.
Okay.
Like
okay.
yeah, like you would get with a when you shut a car door.
Yeah.
And it has that thunk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is Spoon.
Okay.
Quality. Just
right.
distilled quality.
Yeah.
Or like, when the surfaces in a car are all nice and
right.
and well put together, and that aluminum trim is actually aluminum, and
right. All of the things are lining up.
Right, and the leather is just stitched, and it's everything feels nice. That's Spoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this album is really great. It's a slightly different direction for them. It's a little more soundscapey. It's probably the album that you would like best, maybe. Probably. Because you kind of have a lower tolerance for indie rock nonsense.
Yeah.
So there's a little more soundscapey stuff going on in this one, so you might like it. But yeah, that's the feeling you get with Spoon.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I like that. The Volkswagen Phaeton of music. Perfect.
Yeah. We need to think of some more of those.
Yeah. No, that was
that's
great.
an after show topic that can go back to the normal show. Yep. What if write this on the
Content.
Blanket Fort messaging system?
Blazing hot content coming your way, folks. Blazing hot content. Let's see.
Bands.
Bands.
Cars.
As cars.
Spoon equal Phaeton.
You're seeing magic happen here, folks.
Yep, that's right.
That's what's
breaking the fourth wall.
This is how it works.
Yep, that's
the
right.
show writes itself.
Your show writes itself. If you want a mediocre automotive podcast with a dedicated, small but international following, just do what we do. Do all of this.
Yeah.
Get this stuff.
Oh God! Don't touch the equipment.
Don't get
touch the
all
equipment.
of these things.
Yeah.
And you can do it too.
Yeah. And some Kleenex. Because you're gonna catch some colds.
Yep. Exactly.
Gonna catch some colds.
Yep. Ian.
Yes, Dave.
You got really sleepy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm burning calories, coughing.
Yeah, the reason that I give you silence for anybody on Twitch or YouTube that sees that happen, where I just don't try to talk while Ian is coughing to distract the listener with my cunning wit and wry humor, it's so that I can cut that out of the podcast later without losing any audio. So there we go. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Asterisk does not apply to Twitch or YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because who wants to video edit?
Right. No.
Video editing is for chumps.
Yeah. Yeah. With a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah.
Or way more smarts. Yeah.
Why haven't we climbed the iTunes ranking?
Yeah, exactly. Ian?
Yes.
What do you say we wrap this after show up?
Let's wrap it up.
It was good. I am going to check out the Arcade Fire albums.
Okay.
I will give you know how I do this.
Yeah.
I give you my honest take. Mm-hmm. And it typically does not offend you. You can typically understand where I'm coming from when I tell you about how I feel about these albums, right?
Here's what my prediction is for the Arcade Fire.
Yeah.
I believe that you will please, I would not start with the Suburbs because it's their longest album. It's a little. It's too much.
I'll go in chronological order. I've heard their first album before. What the hell is it called?
Funeral.
Yeah, I've heard it a couple times. I'm sure it's in my iTunes library.
It's a little. I mean, I feel like you're maybe going to think it's too precious.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit precious, but I mean, and their name is Arcade Fire, and the album name is Funeral. Like it's a little bit.
Okay, we get it.
We know you're indie kids from the early 2000s. We get it. But that aesthetic is somewhat based on that album. I think it came out like 2003 or something. So like some of the the hipster stereotypes and stuff is kind of from that scene that they were in.
Right.
But I hope you give it a chance because the songwriting is really great and it has a nice big epic feel to it.
Yeah. So I mean, you were saying. So your prediction is
that you're gonna find it too precious. That's what I think.
Okay. All right.
Or twee.
But then what about the Suburbs?
I think you're just gonna think it's like way too boring.
Okay.
There's like 2 songs on there that are legit great.
Okay.
And it's basically the first song and the last song.
Okay.
It's an uneven album, and it's not a popular opinion. I am in the minority there. A lot of people think it's just great.
Okay.
A lot of people think it's their best album. I'm not one of those people.
Okay. What does Stephen Hyden think?
He loves that album.
Okay.
He really does. But he's also a huge like Oasis fan, and I fucking hate Oasis.
Okay.
There's a lot of music I don't agree with Stephen Hyden on. I just love the way he writes about music.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Nice. I'm also not that big of an REM fan.
Yeah, me neither.
But I am curious to hear what you think about Spoon. I think you'll be bored by it.
Okay.
But there's a chance you might like it.
Right.
But you'll probably be bored by it.
If you stop to notice it.
Right.
Yeah.
But you might. You'll be bored by it.
Yeah.
Let's not do that again.
No, we're doing that every show from now on. That's how we're bringing it in, Ian. Yeah. God
what
damn.
is happening to me?
Ian.
Let's end before I end.
Yes. Okay. Listeners, viewers, TeamClearCoat, Gmail. Send us an email. Say hey. Tell us to stop doing the after show. Gmail, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, Drive Tribe, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, You just erased the note,
I know,
Ian.
I've realized that. I'm writing it back down. Don't worry.
Yeah. So follow us on all those venues. You can follow Ian on Instagram and Twitter at iRollSoHard. EYE Roll So Hard. I'm on Instagram and Twitter as well. Nuck Goose. NUK Goose. Yeah, Ian.
Dave.
That's about it.
What are we doing? We're wrapping up.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody. We love you.
We have been doing a show, and yes, we do love you.